Nate. I'm listening.
Mr. Nate, have you had the passcode yet? Your time is over.
So your passcode would be the synonymous word of like a days ago, isn't it? I know it at the first time.
No, you're supposed to answer the question, not repeat the question, okay?
What, I have to answer it?
Yes, of course, you dumbass.
Give me 10 seconds.
No, there's no more time. I need the answer right now, and you are wasting my time. Come on, give me the answer.
Like the days ago? Days ago? Is it milk?
Nope. It's not even close, you know?
No?
Forget it. You're just a waste of time.
Can I try again? Hello? Hello? Hi there, welcome to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Nate. I am currently an IELTS teacher in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, and in this video I will show you the way I use keyword table and a technique called retrospective revision in order to remember, understand, and use the vocabulary that I gather or collect from IELTS reading passages. So let's start it. Back in the day when I was in university, at that time, learning vocabulary was kind of primitive. Most of the time, what I usually do is just write a list of vocabulary and then a list of the translation of the previous list. And yeah, that's it. There's nothing to be mindful about. There's nothing, literally nothing for you to use. There's no further information. There's no practical use so that you cannot implement the vocabulary into real life. And last but not least, there's even no guidance for you to learn the word properly. Then I, times after time, thousands of vocabulary coming, and I couldn't think of the way, optimizing the way I remember vocabulary. And then I started to ask myself a question. How can I add more information into my list of vocabulary? How can I organize the vocabulary into comprehensive topics? And how can I be able to understand, remember, and use the vocabulary in different settings effectively? Until I found an app called Notion, and it totally revolutionized the way I organize my vocabulary and improved my ability to recall those vocabularies in different settings. So let's get started. This video will be split up into two main parts. Firstly, I will show you a method called retrospective revision to study a huge amount of vocabulary that I need for the test and explain why it can solve the problems that traditional vocabulary list has. Secondly, I will show you the way I use Notion in order to create my own retrospective revision system, and why I think it would be helpful for you to study more efficiently by incorporating active recall and spaced repetition. So let's get started. Alright, so welcome to my keyword table. This will be about Cambridge IELTS 16, test 1, and reading passage number 1. Alright, so here's the keyword table would look like. The first column will be the question itself. Second column would be words in passage, which mean the word that I found here. You are not supposed to be here. Okay, nice. And then I will have the third column would be similar words, which are all of the words that I found in the questions. All right. For example, when I see the phrase diabetes and heart disease, I found that it actually is synonymous with the word health problems, which appear in question number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into the keyword table. So when you finish all the question here, you'll have a table like this. And at the first look, it looked exactly identical with the traditional vocabulary list of yours, right? So the only difference here is you don't use your native language. Instead, you use English, which is actually very beneficial for you because you can have faster reaction to our vocabulary. And then you have, a more reflective awareness of how to recognize the vocabulary from the text, which is way more helpful than using a native language. So the only difference of the keyword table is you actually use the similar word in English itself rather than use your native language, because using native language I don't think would be beneficial because you have to think in two languages at the same time. while if you write on English, it might take a lot of time at first, but when you get used to it, like everything you think would be linear because you think only in one language, right? So basically the keyword table will look like this. And in Notion, the good thing about Notion is you can actually duplicate everything here. So I've already made it. You can actually duplicate it and bring it to your own practicing. So every single passage that I read, I will have a keyword table like this. And the good thing is about Notion is you can actually relate tables together and create a master table. So I will show you a master table would look like. All right, so here's the master keyword table. Look a little bit complicated, but I'll tell you later. So here, the master keyword table will include all of the words I learned. Like, it's literally your brain in IELTS. Learning vocabulary is not the matter of how much you can remember after one time of learning, but you want to extend your learning into longer intervals, maybe 3 days, maybe a week, maybe a month. But the more you repeat the knowledge, the more you remember. So I integrate a technique called retrospective revision, actually come from a video from my favorite YouTuber. His name is Ali Abdul. And the link to his video, maybe, like somewhere on the video, maybe in the comments. What I want to show you is how would you learn, then remember, and then use them effectively. So on the keyword table here, I have a column called retrospective. What you want to do is have a look on these vocabulary. Choose wisely the word that you think you want to use in real life. Like you can put into speaking, you can put into writing, make use of it. You found that, yeah, this word is for me and I want to learn it because it's easy. There's some word that is really hard because it depends on the context, it depends on the grammar. So you don't have to, waste a lot of time on two words that you are not really sure. For example, I found the word diabetes and heart disease is kind of way better than the health problems. When you can explain further, for example, when I say, like eating too much processed food can create a lot of health problems in terms of diabetes or maybe even heart disease, right? So actually I incorporate two of these words here at the same time in one sentence in speaking. So yeah, the more the better, right? So I found that this word is easy to learn. I mean, not really easy, but I really want to learn this word. So I tick on the column retrospective. Let's choose another one. Compare the genetic structure of A and B. Compare A and B genetically. This one's good because they have the same verb. And what you're going to do is just change the structure behind of the verb. It would be really handy when you do on writing or speaking, right? Had a gene by genetic means. So this is a verb. This is not a verb. So I don't think I would learn it. I would save for later. Reduce levels, control the levels. Yeah, not cool because the word control and the word reduce, not that relating to each other. So maybe I don't want to learn this thing later. 6 months of fasting, 6 months without food. Perfect. Amazing example, especially if you're in Vietnam nowadays when the COVID pandemic is like wiping out people's life and profession. Anyway, so 6 months of fasting is kind of a very good phrase to learn. So I put it tick in here. And yeah, like you keep doing that, right? So I will do it randomly so that we don't waste a lot of time here. We can see here, I want to learn all of the word that I put in on the date of 28th of July. So how do I have this date? Actually, it's automatic. When you put the word into the keyword table from thing that you learn, and actually from my Notion, everything is linked and the date acquires automatically appear onto your Notion page. So like this. So one day I want to learn all the word on the 28th of July. And also I already ticked in the retrospective column. I go down all the way to is the retrospective table. And at first it wouldn't look like this. At first it would be empty like this. Okay, so I'll show you. At first there's nothing like this too. There's nothing. Okay, it's only this one because this one is the template. Okay, so I duplicate it. Okay, and then I changed the name. For example, I want to learn all the vocabulary that I have on the 28th of July. So yeah, I type in July 28th. Okay, and this one will be appear on the table. Okay, so duplicate, change the date. First step. The second step is you open the toggle button, and then you see the table like this. Actually, you might not see anything. But don't worry, look at the filter. Okay, make sure that there will be a day acquired, this one, the day that you acquire vocabulary, okay, would be on the day, the exact same day with the day that you want to learn the vocabulary. For example, the vocabulary that you got on the date 20th of July, put it in 20th of July. And make sure that you have another filter of the retrospective because you want to learn the word that's useful for you. You don't want to learn words that you cannot really use it into a real life, right? So make sure that you have to filter like this. And if you actually download my templates on the description below, so you don't have to worry about it, just duplicate it. All right, so after you do all the filter, you have a table like this, okay? All the words that are already ticked in the retrospective column. And then you will have to look at the final revision. For this one, it's also a formula. I mean, it is a formula, so it's automatic. And it will be on August 27th, so it's like exactly 30 days after this one. So you have literally a month to study. And then you write down August 27th, which means you can see every time you look at the toggle button like this, you see that, oh, I have to learn the word on 28th of July, and I have to finish all of them before August 27th. Okay, you create something, like a target to move. Okay, so yeah, but that's just a plan. What you want to do is you actually put on your real word, because you cannot just look at the word and then everything's done. No, what you want to do is, for example, let's have a look at this one. We have to learn on July 28th, and today would be the second day of August, right? I'm a good student, so I want to learn on August 2nd. So I put it in and then Control-C for copy and then paste. Drag off the table here, Control-V, finished. So the next thing is very important. So be mindful about this. Have a look on the note. I have 3 different types highlighting the information. You put in a green highlight if the words that you can't understand thoroughly. If you can actually understand the word, you can remember the word, and you actually can use it into your speaking or writing. So, which means you understand thoroughly. This yellow highlight, which means words that are reasonably good, that you are reasonably good, but not too good, which means you can understand, but you not remember, or maybe you cannot use it in writing, or even you can use it, but it's not really grammatically correct. So yeah, these are yellow highlightings. And words that in red highlights, which means that you cannot really remember, you cannot really understand, or even you cannot use it, or maybe you have some problem with grammar or even pronunciation. So it's more serious. For example, let's say compare the genetic structure of A and B. And we have a similar word, which is compare A and B genetically. So as you can see here, we have the same verb, compare. So which means you can use in the same, writing structure. So just read in the reading text and then copy it into your writing. So I think this one is easy, and I can actually use it into my writing as my speaking. So I would put in a green highlight. All right, next one. Diabetes, heart disease are synonymous with health problems. So I actually can use it in a sentence. For example, like people who consume a great amount of fast food can be susceptible to a lot of health problems, especially heart disease and diabetes. So as you can see, I can use the word health problems and diabetes and diseases at the same time in a sentence. So yeah, I can use it really well. Put it in the green one. Oh, sorry, blue. Blue is good, but green is easier to look. Human and even astronaut could potentially benefit. Okay, be used by people one day. I don't think this one is good. This look kind of complicated, and I don't think they are used in like the same context, because astronaut, people who move outer space. I mean people who travel outer space. Kind of depend on their context. So this one would mark it red. Of course, you have to study. Don't just like look at the word and then I put it in the red one. I have to do active recall. What is active recall? It means, for example, when you put all of the word here, you check the grammar, you check everything, and then you close the materials. Or maybe you hide a column like this, or you just put it in the back. Don't hide it, because when you hide it, I don't know the button to bring it back. I don't. Sorry. So I just hide in the back. Okay. So say goodbye for a little bit. Okay. Remember, don't hide it. Maybe there's a way, but I couldn't figure it out. So yeah, just put it in the back. So I see the word here, compare the genetic structure of A and B. I try to recall, and I know that it's compare A and B genetically. Or diabetes and heart disease can be considered as health problems. So because I can recall it, good. But remember, it's not enough. You have to understand it. So you have to ask more questions. For example, how do I use it into a sentence? How do I actually write it into my IELTS writing essay? Or let's try it on the video on YouTube and whether I could recognize it in a audio tape, or even can I really pronounce it correctly? Maybe use Google, Google Translate. So, or maybe Siri, or maybe Google Assistant, just turn on the mic and then speak to your virtual assistant. And if they can actually recognize your pronunciation, so you're good to go. So try to ask more questions, implement more, like things that you have to use, like situation, speaking, writing, pronunciation, grammar, try it all. So if you are, be able to execute all of the aspect like that, put it in the green. If you cannot really use it, but you understand it, it's just some situation that you cannot use it, put yellow highlight. And if you cannot really understand, you feel disappointed, you feel it's really hard, and you have like a really hard time to learn the word, just put it red. Okay, so be back with this one. For example, the mechanism of bone remodeling would be, I think, would be yellow. All right, pregnant bears. Sorry, let's go back here. Okay, pregnant bear, female polar bears. I think this one is easy, right? So put it in yellow. This one's yellow too, right? Or you can use shortcut. No evidence of significant loss of bone density is okay. So we have the red here and the green here. Let's have a look on the note. I actually take note on the first place. Green mean click open to read more notes about this vocabulary. It means I take some note about this one. For example, here. There's another way of saying that. Instead of saying health problem, I say such consequences. And I actually, put the whole sentence from the reading passage so I can read it. The red icon would be antonyms. So instead of word that has similar meaning, so this one is word that have opposite meanings. So right here, for example, you're not really used to put antonym words in the way of writing. So you put it in a red one. Okay, and last one, 6 months of fasting and 6 months without food. Easy to understand, just replace the word, so green. Yep. So on the second day of August, you figure out that there's some words that you need to learn more. When you go further with this technique, or maybe you study better, you will have a longer list. So yeah, it would be more red and yellow and green. So what I want to focus on the hard part, because imagine the next day, tomorrow will be your test. Which part would you want to learn? And yeah, I would obviously choose the red part, because yeah, this is something that I really don't understand and I want to learn it well. So I would do on August the 3rd. Then on the 4th day of August, I would want to learn the yellow word. You categorize the vocabulary into different difficulties. And last one would be August the 5th. Okay, like this. And you keep doing it the same. For example, on 2 days of this, you really understand that. Okay. Okay. All right, like this. And yellow, you actually, you really understand that. Mark it green. Yep. And the red one, you understand that thoroughly, but still cannot really use it. Put in yellow. Yeah. But this one is kind of hard. Put it red, for example. Okay. And you keep doing it until the 3rd day. And when you finish on the 3rd day, just put it there. And just remember that the next time you want to learn will be on the 27th of August. Okay. It will take a longer time, but you can, you can increase the number of column here. You maybe practice the 4th time, the 5th times. It depends on you. And you finish your final revision day. So you can probably click on the button here like this in glory. Okay, and when you are done with everything that you learn would be updated here. Yeah. Okay, all of the word that you learn will be ticked here, and when you go back, you see, oh, okay, that's some word that I learned. To sum up, retrospective revision is like the way for you to know, like actually planned that what type of content you're gonna learn, you based on the topic and you based on the difficulty of the words. Okay, and also you make use of spaced repetition to implement the interval of learning. Like you divide your learning into different days instead of just learning in one day. And also you make use of active recalls. It means every time you learn a word, try to ask questions, try to implement it into your speaking and writing, as well as pronunciation and grammar. So here's the thing. When you finish all the table like this, okay, for example, actually you don't have this one. Okay, one day, like maybe you finished list of vocabulary in July 28, and then you realize that, no, I couldn't remember this one. Wow, it's too hard. This one's also too hard. This is too hard too. Yep. So you have among 10 words, for example, you have 4 words that you couldn't remember. Actually, it's a good rate. You learn 10 words, you forget 4. When you go down to the bottom here, a section I call we meet again. So it's mean when you forget a word, you have to come back to everything. So right here, if you tick on the word and try to, to filter to everything, every word that are ticked in the column we meet again will appear here. Like no matter the date, no matter the time, it's just every word that you couldn't remember. Okay. And then for example, I couldn't remember these 4 words and I decided to learn them. For example, today is the 2nd of August, so I put in 2nd of August. Oh shit, sorry. Maybe on the 3rd of August, I will learn that. On the 3rd of August, for example, and you keep doing that. Okay, and this one is also automatically updated. And again, you have to do it in another 30 days. If you finish after a month, you can untick the box. Yep, and they are automatically removed. And yeah, you go back here, and no more type for the words. So this is how the keyword table works. And yeah, as you can see, it's not about the technique. It's more about the organization, like how you organize the thing, how you look the vocabulary here in a systematic way, and how you actually keep track of what you learn. There's a lot of problems when I'm trying to make a vocabulary list, especially my notes. I mean, I'm a big fan of organization and, like all the aesthetic things here. I'm trying to make my notion as aesthetic as possible, but I cannot really do on notebook. Taking things in notes is not really a thing for me. And when I do on Notion, things become more vivid. And, I really enjoy the theme, or we can say the interface. Well, and it creates a kind of motivation that's really important for me to keep going on. I think you can make use of it. And here's another tip. I actually make use of the keyword table and turn it to my another table, which I call words that I want to learn. So here's all the vocab. I just built it like literally 2 days ago when I watched Sherlock on Netflix, and they use a lot of good vocabulary. So I just put down the words here. And the difference is that this one isn't related to IELTS. So, the words here are more of your choice, your favorite. And yeah, it's look better and less complicated than the keyword table. So the good thing here is you can actually add the table and you put in the tag. So in the tag, trying to put a topic because you want to organize the vocabulary in a topical way. For example, I have a word is amiable. Amiable is actually mean friendly. A person is very friendly. You can use the word amiable. So yeah, you can use that word into your IELTS writing or maybe speaking. Anyway, so amiable mean personality, right? So I put in the characteristic too, right? Okay, so this is a topic. All right, and you keep doing that. You try to categorize the vocabulary that you learn into different categories, and yeah, you can learn things based on the topic. Well, and then yeah, we still have the retrospective revision and we meet again. So you just do it exactly the same, but my suggestion is try to separate things that you learn from IELTS and things that you want to learn from other sources, because IELTS is kind of formal, and some kind of language in IELTS is not really used in real life, and vice versa. There's some language in films or materials that you watch or read are not really suitable in the IELTS. So try to separate them, and then you're good to go. All right, so all of these keyword table here, the keyword table and the form of words that I want to learn is actually included into the template below. And I hope that you can really make use of these keyword table, to, boost up your IELTS score. And I know this keyword table is kind of complicated. It took me a lot of time to make this too. But you can actually check everything. And you can see, everything become green, and you see, wow, so green, so fresh. And it creates some kind of motivation for you to learn. This is the end of the video here. If you have any question about my keyword table, just leave a comment below and let me know if you like the content or not, so that I can, create more content like this. Remember to subscribe and like for this channel. It helps hugely for the growth of this YouTube. And I'll see you around. Goodbye.